at the health system, Australian health system, it seems to me that pharmaceutical distribution is possibly the only part that consumers never complain about. It works incredibly well. I mean, you very rarely hear of issues with supply or people not being able to get their medicines. Do you think people take it for granted and take your role in it for granted?
I think for the average person in the public, they wouldn't give it a second thought as to how their medicines roll up. You know, and the fact that they can go and present a script to their local pharmacy, and pretty much whatever medicine they're after is always available. So, I mean, for an average person in the street, that is an easy sort of position to reach. I do think, to pick up the point the guys were making earlier, I mean, the system in Australia works extraordinarily well, right? And but we have tried to tackle the whole review process with an open mind and say, well, look, the panel's challenging us to think about other alternatives. I mean, Australia is a very logical market for the sort of structure that we have. You know, you have sort of 400 or 500 suppliers, you have 5,500 pharmacies with a wide geographic dispersion. And what's happened, all three of our organisations are the result of aggregated local supply chains, right? So there has been a level of efficiency generated over time by necessity to make sure that the returns are there and the efficiencies are there. So we provide this fantastic service that's largely invisible to consumers, right? But I guess the point we keep making time and time again is there needs to be an adequate return in that sort of model so that we can invest proactively in the infrastructure that's needed to provide that and make sure that Australians can continue to benefit from what they've had to date.
One of the reasons that a consumer, a patient, would never know that there is this complex and sophisticated supply chain behind it is that the way it's evolved and the way government has regulated the industry provides redundancy in the system. So we've had very real examples over the last several years, and Richard Smiles, having lived through what happened in Brisbane when the floods actually wiped out the API facility in Brisbane, the ability of the network to lean on the other competitors in the sector to ensure that medicine kept flowing to patients, notwithstanding a wipeout of a major facility, is a testament to the way the industry is structured. If you flip that, if you said, okay, well, we don't need to leave as much money on the table, we don't need as many people participating in here, redundancy is not really worth that investment, I think you then run the risk that if an event happens, and it's not just Brisbane, we saw it in Tasmania with fires, we've had the ravages of nature over the last 5 or 6 years that have knocked out at various points different distribution centres. If you don't have a fallback position, then the patient would most likely feel that. In metropolitan Brisbane, if you couldn't access medicine for 2 days, the consequences are real. We did some work a little while ago on that exact topic to quantify the benefit of constant supply. And in dollars, it's absolutely massive. So there's been this structure that's helped.